And we got to start with Luka today because he was back at American Airlines Arena yesterday. It's funny. I'm calling. So I did a Baylor baseball game last night for ESPN and or Baylor softball game, and I'm actually doing a Texas Tech softball game. It's one of those like from a remote. I got like one of those kits, so I'll call it from home on Friday, and I was on a call with the coach of Houston yesterday with Mike Leslie, because Mike Leslie from WFAA, he's calling, I think, the game on Saturday for that series, Texas Tech versus Houston. So Leslie's on the call, and, no more than a half hour, 40 minutes after the call ends, Leslie is piping hot on social media with all the sights and sounds coming out of American Airlines Arena. Luka walking back in, saying hello. I can tell you this from having worked in the NBA, and I'm not telling you that I wasn't a general manager. I was a PR guy. But 82 games is a lot. And you get to know from those 41 home games, the people in the arena, the staff, it is like a huge family. It truly is. Like if you work on game nights for an NBA team, it's the same as, having a job where you welcome your regulars, right? All the time. Like they're kind of like your people. If you work at a restaurant and the regulars come in, you develop, a low-key bond with them. So watching Luka come in the arena last night, even that was emotional. So that and the tribute video before the game, which props to the folks with the Mavericks. It was long. It was really long. And it was emotional for Luka. I mean, he was sobbing on the bench, and he said, I didn't even know that I would be able to play the game after that emotional start to the night. And he went out and dropped 45 because that's what he does. And Scotty was mentioning that this is a dude who plays well when the lights are the brightest and the pressure is on. And last night we saw it. Scotty, you watched the first half of the game. I was calling the softball game, so I was playing catch up last night and this morning. What were your emotions? Now you're a Lakers fan. So,
I am rooting for Luka and LeBron. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what were your emotions though watching that last night?
It was tough. It was tough because, I think in the immediate aftermath of the trade, when Luka was clearly so distraught, you expect that in the 48 hours afterward, but to see him really emotional now, it's been what, a month and a half probably since that trade went down, and I know it's his first trip back, but they had already played in LA, so it's not like it's the first time he's played against the Mavs. To see him still that devastated is the word I would use during that tribute video. Was really tough. And I will just tell you too, some of my friends who haven't jumped ship on the Mavs like I did so dramatically on this show, they were furious that the PR approach the Mavs took was this thank you, Luka. We love you, Luka. Welcome home, Luka. It's like you freaking traded him. It's not like he's retiring. It's not like he left in the off season and he's playing in it. It's not like the Kobe tour, before he retired. It's like you shipped him off, called him fat, and then because you've received so much backlash for the way that was handled, you try to make all nice and, oh, we love Luka.
It's flimsy.
It's soft. It's soft. I think for my few friends that were like, oh, I can kind of understand why they made the trade or they were being defensive. It's like, okay, now you're just talking out of both sides of your mouth, right? Stick to your guns.
Well, it's damage control.
Yeah, but stick to your guns. If you think you made the team better by swapping Luka for AD, say that. Yeah. But now that it's almost like they're like, wait, guys, we actually love Luka, dude. So that as the former Mavs fan I am, that ticked me off.
How much more time? I've thought about this morning. How much more time do you think Nico Collins has?
Nico Harrison,
sorry.
I think it depends on how the next season or so plays
I think
out.
He's got one more season.
I think he's got a season. That's what I'm saying. The next season or so.
I think he's a dead man walking. I believe that. I truly believe that. I think because I don't know that they'll rebound and have a good year next year. And I think that the plug will be pulled. Because there's just too much negativity around him. And it creates for a toxic environment. And again, I've said this on this show. I don't know Nico Collins at all. Clearly this was like I came to the realization this morning, driving over here, listening to all the reaction from last night, and I really am starting to just settle in. Like, you know how we always say, I try to appreciate what these general managers do, and there's so much we don't know. It's always what I say. This trade was so bad from soup to nuts. It's the worst trade in the history of sports, maybe.
It is.
And
it is.
It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. And I'm not like one of those people like fire Nico, blah, blah, blah. But the dude probably needs to go.
Probably will get fired.
He probably needs to go just because he's connected. It's so toxic.
Well, here's why he's going to go, regardless of how you feel about the basketball move or him. Tim McMahon put this out yesterday before the game, which, of course, brilliant timing. Let's generate interest. And he said, it's a decision, sources told ESPN, that will cost the franchise at least 9 figures over the next several years. The Mavs are projected to lose dozens of millions in revenue this season due to dwindling crowds, plummeting merchandise sales, and sponsors cutting ties with the franchise. So here's the deal. Bottom line is the bottom line. This is a new ownership group for the Mavericks. Mark Cuban had built a machine. They were selling out every game. They were making money. In fact, Mark Cuban said, like, I was losing money because I was trying to keep cheap seats cheap for fans. But, like, as far as, like, darling of the city, generating revenue, sponsorships, the Mavs were cruising. And it's not just that you traded Luka. It's now you are losing dozens of millions of dollars this season. That's why he's going to get fired.
Yeah.
Because if you're the new owners and Mark Cuban handed you a well-oiled machine and suddenly it's in the tank and it's largely, if not entirely, due to this one trade, yeah, you can't excuse that lost revenue.
No,
as an owner.
And you bring up a great point via Tim McMahon. Like that, it's unforgivable from a culture standpoint and a basketball standpoint. But now we're talking bottom line.
Which is what these owners are motivated by. Let's not pretend like it's anything else.
Especially owners that don't know the first thing about basketball.
Clearly.
No, really. And like,
clearly.